Okay, so ComicTom came out with his video last night. I watched it last night. I watched it again this morning. Now it's time to debunk it. Stick around. Welcome back, family. Thanks for joining yet again here at Ohana Comics. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're still trying to build this channel. We're getting up there, but I want to give away some books, and I got to hit some milestones to do it. So yeah, ComicTom dropped his list last night, and I watched it last night, as opposed to last week when he was in a hotel room, and he dropped it really late. Overall, the list is not terrible, but if I'm getting this out pretty early, so I'm going to remind you now, don't forget to go to JP's Budget Collecting and watch his live stream where he's talking about these, as well as the CBSI top 10. He incorporates them together into one list. And you could watch his video that he dropped last night, which is reviewing the list from 6 months ago to see where they are. And you'll see that 6 months ago to now, not one book is up. Not one. So there you go. You got a couple that maintained and mostly boom. Like, what were we thinking? But let's jump right into the list right now. So we got, coming in at number 10, Star Wars Obi-Wan, number 1, the 1 in 25 variant. Now, this is a little bit difficult. It's selling for about $30 right now, which it's probably going to come down in price. But on Wednesday, I went to my LCS, and they had a ton of the Obi-Wan books. They did. Okay, I think every LCS had a ton of the Obi-Wan books. Knowing that, the series is dropping in a couple of weeks, and it's going to be a hot book, plus you wanted to be able to buy a lot, so you get your 1 in 10s, your 1 in 25s, your incentive variants. I went yesterday for a new comic book day. They were sold out. Usually, when I see my LCS buy 200 copies of something, a week later, they still have 50, 60 books sitting there. They have some left over that are going in. They were gone. They were completely gone. So there is a big interest in the Obi-Wan books. So I think right now the 1 in 25 is going to be a hot commodity. I don't think it's going to hold value. Okay, so I think if you're looking at this for a long-term value, I still think there's going to be a ton of these out there, and $30 isn't terrible if you really like the cover. I personally like the 1 in 10 a little bit better. It's also a more affordable, and I haven't even seen how well the storyline is going to go, so we'll see. That's my take on it. Probably not worth it. Coming in number 9, Moon Knight number 10 from the 2017 series. Now this is the more of the origin of Mark Spector, and I believe they said it was the first appearance in the comics of Stephen Grant. Spoiler coming around, okay? So I'll just say that the raw copies are selling for $12. They didn't have any values for the 9.8s because I don't think there are any sales for that. So I'm going to do my normal. I'm raising my hand for spoilers. When my hand goes down, that means I'm done talking about it. So if you haven't seen Moon Knight yet, try not to pay attention. Hit mute. Okay, going in 3, 2, 1, now. All right. So we know that Stephen Grant survives, but we also don't think there will be a season 2. Where will Moon Knight appear? Will he get his own movie? Is he going to be incorporated into a team? Who knows? We don't know. We don't even know if Mark and Stephen Grant will be used going forward, or is it only going to be Jake Lockley? We don't know. This is when the iron is really hot. I wouldn't be trying to. Okay, so I'm gonna hand coming down. Spoilers are over. $12 for a raw sale right when the series is in its hype, or the finale just dropped and it's on everybody's lips. This is not the time to buy it. It's still a great story. It's a Lemire storyline. Great cover art on that, though. I love the look of that book. But I would wait a little bit. I think that'll drop down. It was a pretty highly printed book at the time. Coming in number 8, Legends number 1, 1986, first appearance of Amanda Waller. Now this is if you didn't recognize the name, that's the Viola Davis character that is from Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad movies 1 and 2, and she will be reprising her role in number 3. But $10 for an average sale, $160 for a 9.8. This is a dollar bin book that is up now, and it'll come back down again. I think a lot of people are going to be sending these books in because they're looking at $1 to $160 turnaround. So I think the market's going to be pretty flooded on this. And I mean, it's nice, that background character, but is that why you go to see the movies? Because you want to see Amanda Waller? No, you go because you want to see the superheroes. That's the one that gets all the attention. So if you can pick one up in really nice condition for $5, okay. I wouldn't even go to the 10 on this dollar bin book. I'd wait a couple months until it's not being talked about anymore, but I wouldn't spend $160 on a 9.8. On the flip side, coming in number 7, Ronin number 1 from 1983. Now this is, according to Tom, this is spiking or gaining a lot of interest and a lot of sales because Frank Miller has announced Frank Miller Productions, and he's going to be coming out with his own comic line, similar like what they did with Image, and he's secured a deal with Diamond distributors because Diamond is losing all their customers. They're like dying here. They're happy to distribute comic books, and it's not like they're going to... I didn't have any news about reprinting Ronin or anything, but this was the big book back in the heyday, 1983, that Frank Miller put out. Frank Miller was what, in case you're like younger, Frank Miller was back in the day what McFarlane and Momoko and In-Hyuk Lee. I mean, he was one of the big names that you're like, oh, Frank Miller has a new book coming out. Oh, I have to buy it just because it's Frank Miller. He just did amazing things with Daredevil. He did the 1982 limited series with Wolverine. Yeah, it's just Frank Miller. What was it? The movies with oh god, I can't think of the name of it. Hang on a second, I had to pause. As soon as I hit pause, I remembered Sin City. That was Frank Miller's also. So as a result, though, one of Frank Miller's biggest projects back in the heyday was Ronin. And this was one of the books to get back in in the 1980s. And I'm looking at this like, really? It's only going for $175 in a 9.8? This is an almost next year. This book will be 40 years old. Now, yes, the Legends is 1986. It's a few years younger, but Ronin, I believe, was a much more coveted book at the time. So Raw's going for 10 and a 9.8 going for 175. That's something I'd still like to have in the collection. And I may be looking for that. I don't know. I don't see that coming down at all. I mean, it's had its 40 years to marinate. So, I mean, if you really want to get one in a collection, if they're rushing to get Frank Miller publications in within a couple of months, I understand it's just popped on ComicTom's list. It may drop a little bit in a month and a half, but then once Frank Miller Publications starts coming online, which is going to be quickly, it's going to go back up again. You might want to look for it now in that 170, 175 range. I wouldn't wait more than a month and a half. I mean, a month and a half, it may come down a little bit, but it's a very short window for when it's hot now being talked about and when the publications, they're saying it's going to be a couple of months. So you might be able to find a better deal in a month and a half to 2 months. But if this is something you really want to get in your collection, don't sleep on it. Spawn number 9 comes in at number 6. First appearance of Angela from 1993. $20 raw sale, $170 for a 9.8. And they said that this is a tough book at a 9.8. Yeah, it is. Okay, I've failed at all my 9.8s trying to get. So getting that $20 raw, I mean, I picked up $20 raws that looked immaculate and got back like a 9.2. And I went, what? Where? But, I mean, you've watched my unboxings. I do that all the time. If you're better at grading than I am, hopefully, if you can find a raw and send it in, go ahead. But remember, this is very, very susceptible to color rub. So as the books, what color rub is, as the books are being shipped, they're one book on top of another. They're not in bags. Black ones will show any kind of damage anywhere, but the white ones, as the book, especially if you've got a book with color on the back, okay, when this is on top of the book and it moves around in the box, you're rubbing the colors off on that white surface, and you may not see it with a cover like this, which has black everywhere. But on a white book, like the Ultimate Fallout 4, Pacelli, you'll see it on that one. So that's where you got to worry about color rub and everything. Now, the reason this is hot now, and this goes up and down in waves, by the way, it's another one of those books, is because they think, somebody speculated that Angela will be in Thor, Love and Thunder, a Spawn character. Yes, she has appeared in Marvel Comics. Yes, Marvel does have the rights to her. What the heck does she got to do with Thor? I personally think this is a really, really bad spec. That being said, it's still cool to get a first appearance of Angela in a 9.8. So I don't think that this is going to go up in value because of the spec of Thor. I think that in the long run, though, it still will climb in value. So it's not a terrible spec. I mean, not a terrible buy, but it's not one that you should be going after because of Thor: Love and Thunder, in my opinion. Speaking of Thor number 5, and going to other series. Coming in number 5, Thor number 326. This is the first appearance of the second Scarlet Scarab, which is, again, sorry, a character that they think that's what that is in Moon Knight. Well, the costumes match, but I didn't hear the name dropped. I didn't hear anybody refer to that person as Scarlet Scarab. I did not see, hey, we're going to get a season 2 because we don't know that. Is this going to be in a movie? Or we have no clue. $345 for a 9.8 or $20 for a Raw. Heck no. Nope. 6 months. This is a $5 book. This is $150 for a 9.8. $170 maybe. As everybody forgets all about this. And I don't see this character coming back or even being the one that's in Thor. And if I'm wrong, then just pick it up in a few months. But this, no matter what, this is wrong. Coming in number 4. Okay. I'm going to save you guys some money. Assassin and Son number 1. We have a spec rumor that this is going to be made into a movie. The reason there was no number 2 is because the creator, which was a WWE wrestler, died trying to saving his son from Riptide. He drowned, and but now the spec rumors that it's going to be coming out. $8 average sale, no data on 9.8s. Want to save some money? Go to Scout Comics. Okay, just go to Google and type in Assassin and Son. And it'll come up with a link for Scout Comics. They still have them there for $5. Okay, yes, you have to pay a little bit of shipping. You got to pay shipping if you buy it for $8 off of eBay. So, you know what? And the proceeds for this go to the family. So, I actually just went right before making this video, I went and I bought 4 copies. $20, I dropped it, bought 4 copies. Shipping was another, I think, $8 or something like that. So, and there was no tax. So, I got them for overall $7 a piece with shipping. And the money went to the family. So, if you want to buy that book, you want to pick up a few copies just for speculation, go to Scout Comics and pick them up. For $5 a piece, if you want to buy 1, 2, 12, whatever, go right ahead. But don't go on eBay and start bidding up the prices on this, because somebody else is making the profit. The family that could use the money is not. It's like going and buying ENIAC, not first printing, for extra money. They printed in infinite numbers of them. Coming in number 3, Star Wars number 2. It's the first appearance of a lot of things here. We got first appearance of Obi-Wan, which is why this one is spiking. But you got Han Solo, Chewbacca, you've got the Millennium Falcon. I mean, this is a great, great book. $200 raw average sale, and the highest price for a 9.8, $5,500. Now, there were other sales all over the place. $1,900, $5,000, $4,000, $3,600. So they were saying people don't know where the value of this book truly lies. Well, one of the things about this book is how well it's cut and centered. If you can get a 9.8 and look at the book and say that's cut off center. Okay, how well it presents is going to have a big deal on how good the price is. That being said, Star Wars number 2, normal rule of thumb is you don't buy right before the series comes out, but this is Star Wars, so Is it going to come down after Obi-Wan? Yeah. I mean, it may only plateau. It is possible that if Obi-Wan does not do well, this book is going to tank. And actually, even if the series does do well, I think it will come down after the series is over. So I would wait on this. I have a copy. It's a 7.5. It's fine. You know, I like it. It's in my collection, and I'm not going anywhere with it. So, yeah, I would wait on this. That's just my personal opinion. Coming in number 2, Superman number 233. Now, honestly, this is how bad I am with DC, and I'm trying to get better. I am. I'm gonna try to get better. I had never seen this cover before ComicTom's list last night. That's how bad I am. I looked at it, I'm like, that is an amazing, amazing cover. And it has gone up in value over the last few days because of the unfortunate passing of Neil Adams. Now, I did know Neil Adams, okay? If you're a DC fan, you knew Stan Lee. So, Neil Adams was the guy. So, yes, I will be adding this to my collection, but I looked at some of the prices of recent stuff. Now, they didn't list any sale prices at all on ComicTom. I went back and watched it again. I'm like, they didn't talk about prices. They say it's hot. They don't say anything about increase in sales percentage or prices or anything. But you're looking in, if you're trying to figure out prices, it's comparable to that in graded prices. Maybe a little bit less, okay? I was looking at some decent copies, like the 6.0 range. They were going for like 500, but it's a nice book. It really is. I definitely want to add that to the collection, but I'm going to be looking for a raw probably in that one and adding it. It's a 15-cent book, so that's going to be a Silver Age. I would wait a little bit until the discussions of everything with Neil Adams goes down, but this is one of those books that will continue to go over time. It's one of those slow burn increase in values, your steady investments, your mutual funds, so your CDs. So yeah, I would add that to the collection. I would just wait about a month before going after that one. Okay, so and number 1 on their list was their Captain Carter number 1. Now, no. All right, if you haven't seen Death of Doctor Strange yet, you haven't seen the trailers and seen any news online, I'm just going to say that I definitely think you should wait on this comic book for 3 months before going and buying it. $12 average sale, $3.25 for a 9.8. No. The $3.25 for the 9.8. The only way somebody could have 9.8s already graded in hand is if they sent it in for walkthrough or something stupid fast, which means they paid a premium because they wanted to be one of the only 5 people or 10 people that has this book in a 9.8, and everybody going after, buying it because of FOMO. They wanted to get this book as fast as possible, so they paid a premium to get it through. Meanwhile, all the dumb idiots like me are sending in the book's regular submission. So this is exactly following what happened with ASM number 75, the Gleason, which, sorry, 55. You remember this one? Remember when these first came back from from CGC? The prices were through the roof. But then, everybody else that had them, everybody else that sent them, as they started trickling back, now there's less of a demand because we got them, and there's more of them on the market. Price, boom, dropped like a stone. So what's this going for now, 75? Do you really... I think that the Captain Carter, even the 1 in 25, that was going for $250 a week ago. So I looked this morning, and I felt bad. There's an actual auction with bids, and the bids are up to $202. Meanwhile, you scroll a little bit further down, and there are buy it nows of the same book, $170, $150. These prices are dropping down, and I'm sure the person who locked himself into that 202 bid is kicking himself in the butt. Because it's like, if I didn't bid on this, I could have bought that one for $50 less. So, again, people with the FOMO, they're worried about it. And, they're worried about that Black Panther #3, 1 in 25, or this or that. But, I mean, he said it was the first appearance of Captain Carter in the comics. No, it's not. Exiles 3 and 4 are. Why would you say that when you've already said about Captain Exiles in the past? But, yeah, wait for the hype to die down on this. I wouldn't be against picking up a couple copies. If you want to buy a 9.8, give it 4, 5, 6 months, and you'll be finding them for $75. Because there was just too many of them, and they're all getting submitted. Okay, it's going to be a nice looking book in the slab, but and if you want that 1 in 25, wait a little longer. It's going to come down even more. It's going to drop down under 100. You'll see it, and that's a cool book. That one I'd really like to have in a slab. So, okay, so that's the top 10 list, and now is the Remember Me pick. For those of you not familiar, there are books in here that I have told you, wait till everybody forgets about it. Wait for the prices to drop. But if everybody forgets about it, that means you and me are also forgetting about it. So I need to pick out a book that we have forgotten about, that we have said don't buy, and remind you, because that's what this is. Remember Me? I'm holding up that book on Remember Me. Now, this is a book that you're going to look at it and say, why would you want to buy this? And it's because this book shot up like a stone because of high expectations. Those expectations were not lived up to at all. People were ticked off. The price has tanked. But it's still a solid book. I'm talking about Star Wars 42. First appearance of Boba Fett. Now, you know what the Boba Fett books were selling for. I mean, the Raws were going for $250 to $400. Now they're going for like $60 to $250. I was looking at it down on JP's. And I did a little research. I'm like, you know what would be a good grade to buy? Would be like a 9.0. Okay? I mean, I can't, let's be honest, I can't go on just blow the money on a 9.8, even a 9.6. But 9.0 still has that 9. It's still in that same category. I was very happy when I got my Star Wars #1 on a 9.0. It's got that first number. That looks cool, you know? Ooh, had a little flicker there on the computer. I'm like, no, don't die. So, looked at 9.0 sales data. And in December, when this series was hot and everything was going crazy, this 9.0 was selling for $559. Sold for $559. I look at sold listings. Somebody listed for $10,000. I don't care. It's what people are actually willing to pay. Another 9.0 just sold for $349. We're talking about 40% less. So this is a solid drop in this book because people are like, oh man, that series stunk. And they're dumping their books. There's a lot of them on the market. Dealers can't get rid of them. Okay, this is your good time that if you want to get a good Star Wars original series book, it's still the first appearance of Boba Fett. Once people get over how ticked off they are at the series, they're still going to realize that's still Boba Fett. That's still the character that's had all these books written about him. Will he appear maybe in The Mandalorian? Very possible. Will it have a little uptick if he gets badass again? Very possible. But in the long run, it's still a great book to invest in. It's Boba Fett. Okay? So there's my Remember Me pick for today. Hopefully you've already remembered to click, like, and subscribe. Don't forget to click on notifications and continue joining us and building the channel. Slowly going up in subscriptions. I'm hoping to get one of those big jumps soon. And I'm going to be doing my Doctor Strange review that'll be airing tonight. And yeah, I saw it on Thursday night, opening night. And I'll just say I did like it. But I want to give my review more spoiler free and regular spoiler. Don't forget to click on and watch JP's Budget Collecting when he does the top 10 review, or the hot list review, because I'm going to be watching that. Hopefully we'll see each other in the chat. Guys, thank you for joining so much, and hopefully I will see you soon. But until I do, mahalo.